Now, obviously, a lot of attention and draft talk is going to go towards the more popular guys, the quarterbacks, playmakers, stuff like that, from the big schools, Ohio State, Clemson. Everybody knows Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, all of those guys. But every year, we know it's going to happen because it's always happened. There's always going to be guys that go in later rounds that are going to step on the scene in the NFL and they're going to shock everybody. So in this video, I want to talk about 3 guys that I thought had really good college careers and really did some good things on film, but for whatever reason, they're not being talked about as much. They're going under the radar, and I think they're underrated. So in this video, I just wanted to talk about 3 guys that I really like. I think they're super underrated, and if they fall into the right situation and the cards land the right way, they could be very successful players in the NFL. And the first guy I want to talk about is Amari Rodgers, wide receiver from Clemson. Now, when we're talking about Clemson, we know all of the attention is going on one guy. It's been that way for years now, and that guy is Trevor Lawrence, and you can sprinkle some Travis Etienne in there as well. But, you know, I thought Amari Rodgers, first of all, I think he has a really good skill set. Now, he is a smaller guy. He's just on the shorter side, and many will consider him just a slot receiver. I don't like to pigeonhole guys like that, but he can play effectively in the slot and has those qualities. But I think, you know, throughout his career, he's been pretty consistent, been a pretty good player. And given the fact that Clemson lost their #1 receiver this past season, Justin Ross, who had that spinal injury, I believe, something like that, or a neck injury. Not quite sure on that. You guys will have to fact check me. But, you know, once they lost Justin Ross, you know, that was a big part of their offense. And I thought, you know, and obviously guys had to step up and take on bigger roles, and Amari Rodgers was one of those guys. And I think he played well this season. I thought he played well last season. He really stands out on film because he can operate really well in space. He's super quick. He has really good speed. I'm not sure. Maybe he's a 4.4 guy, I'd say. But when you see him out on the field, he's game fast. And I think that's what matters most. He's got a solid build. He's built more like a smaller running back as opposed to like what you would envision as a typical slot skinny receiver. So I think he catches the ball well. He just looks like a gamer out there to me. And for some reason, when I'm watching Clemson film, he always gets open and he's always making plays. So he's not going to be a first round pick or anything like that. He'll be a guy that'll go in the later rounds, but like I said before about all of these guys, if they end up in the right situations, man, then they can go out there, and these skilled guys, these talented guys can go out there and really make some noise in the NFL. And I think Amari Rodgers is that guy. He's one of those guys that can do that. The next guy I want to talk about is Oklahoma State running back Chuba Hubbard. And for some reason, this guy has fallen completely off the map. Nobody has talked about him in about a year and a half now, and I'm just confused as to why. Now, I know he had a down year compared to what he did in his previous season, and in his previous season, last year, he came out there and he led the nation in rushing. This guy went out there and he had 2,000 rushing yards on 328 carries with 21 touchdowns. Now, like I said, the numbers dropped this year. This is a weird year, but you're not going to tell me that somebody that goes out there and puts up that level of production can't play in the NFL. And even watching what he does on film, he is explosive. He is explosive. He has the foot speed to take it to the distance on every single play. Now, am I saying he's going to be a feature back? No, maybe not. He might be a good complimentary back. He might be a situational guy that comes in on third downs and, gets you another playmaker, another skilled guy out there on the field. He could be that guy. But would I be shocked if he landed on the team and ended up taking the starting job? I wouldn't be shocked. He's that explosive as a player. Like I said, he's going to really excel in zone schemes, running outside zone, wide zone, stuff like that. And once he gets in the open field, like I said before, you're not catching this guy. He's that fast. He's clearly a 4.3 guy. I don't know his exact 40 time, but I wouldn't be shocked if he's a 4.3 guy. And a weapon like that, an explosive weapon like that has put up production in college, that has done his thing in college, should be talked about more, in my opinion. Like I said, he had a little bit of a down year, but everybody had a down year. This was just a weird year. But that type of talent shouldn't go unnoticed, and I think Chuba Hubbard is a guy that needs to be talked about a little more. The last guy I want to talk about is Dyami Brown, wide receiver out of North Carolina. Now, this was a guy that I didn't know much about for a long time. I knew that North Carolina had some pretty good talent out there at receiver and at running back as well, and at quarterback. Pretty solid team right there, but I hadn't really paid attention and hadn't watched this guy. And when I turned on the film, I was blown away. This guy is probably one of the most explosive players in the country at receiver. I don't want to say he's just a deep threat, but when you watch film, that part of his game really stands out. He just runs by everybody. He runs by everybody, and I'm not sure if he's that fast. Like, is he just faster than everybody, or is everybody just slow? I'm not sure what it is, but somehow he always ends up getting open deep down the field, and he makes plays when the ball comes his way. Now, I don't think he's a one-dimensional guy. I don't think he's just a deep threat. I think he's a really good route runner as well. Also catches the ball well, but man, his biggest trait is clearly his explosive ability. And when he was out there for North Carolina, they threw him the ball deep, and he made plays when the ball was thrown his way. Do I think he's better than, Devontae Smith, Jamar Chase? I don't think he's as good as those guys, but I do think he's probably in that next tier. And every year we know that there's going to be some receiver that's drafted late that's going to end up going out there and doing some good things as a rookie. It seems like it happens every year. And I think Dyami Brown is a candidate to be that guy. Just sheer explosive ability, speed. He can really take the top off of defense at any point. And those guys are valuable in the league these days because it's a primarily passing league. So if you're a team that's looking for a guy like that has that type of explosive ability at receiver, then I think Dyami Brown would be a guy that definitely should be in consideration. Now, there's no guarantee that any of these guys is going to be good. I just really like their skill sets, and I really enjoyed watching those guys on film. So let me know what you guys think about those three players: Amari Rodgers, Chuba Hubbard, and Dyami Brown. Also, let me know down in the comments some underrated guys that you think aren't getting enough recognition around the country. I had a bunch of guys on my initial list, but I tried to narrow it down a little bit to really talk about these guys a little bit more. But like I said, let me know down in the comments the guys across the country that you think deserve a little bit more recognition and deserve a little bit more praise.